Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Coffee with Carl. I'm your host, Carl Zoellner, and today I want to talk a little bit about value versus cost for investors. A lot of times when we look at value or cost, we've got a different set of lenses on, meaning most times when somebody's coming and talking to me about the cost of something, I'm really looking at an individual whose perspective is that of a consumer, not an investor. So as an investor, you say, okay, so something out there, we'll just use widgets because widgets are easy and most folks know them from economic principles. But this widget costs $10,000. And a lot of times a consumer will say, oh, wow, $10,000 is a lot of money for that item. Okay. Justifiable, great. $10,000 is still $10,000. But let's look at it from an investor or a value perspective. If I look at it as an investor or from a value perspective, I'm saying, okay, you're telling me this widget is $10,000. But what function does this widget play, and what value does it bring that may justify that $10,000? So meaning if I'm not going out and purchasing a widget and it's $10,000 and it's only bringing me in, $1,000 worth of value, or in my perspective or to my business, then I say, wow, look at that price. But from the investor's perspective, say I pay $10,000 for a widget and it brings in a value of $100,000 to my business. Now we're looking at it from the value perspective, meaning when we start looking at pricing on items from an investor perspective, it's more about, okay, I understand there is a cost for these items, but what value is it bringing me versus all I'm seeing is the price tag, the dollar signs, and the numbers. So what I'm saying is an investor looks at things from a different perspective. Going along with that same line of thought, I look at tax preparation and legal work the same way. As a person who would be, somebody who is looking at it from a consumer's perspective, we hear about the fees for attorneys, CPAs, these hourly costs, things like this. And it's relevant, of course, right? I mean, if there's money to be spent, we need to be looking at what the return is for those investments. However, as somebody who's banged their head against the keyboard, looking at TurboTax, as well as looking at the legal implications in different areas of the country, I can tell you as an investor, your time is going to be better spent finding deals, closing deals, earning money for your business than it is going to be trying to figure out the legal and tax side of that equation. Now, as an attorney myself, here at Anderson Business Advisors, I can tell you it took me hundreds of thousands of dollars as well as years to be qualified to look at the legal implications of different statutes in different locales, as well as to understand the tax side of most investors' businesses. So I'd say that to say this: I have a lot of clients that come in, first time we start talking and I suggest an initial structure. Every once in a while, somebody wants to say, well, that's more expensive than I thought. And then we have the conversation. Well, number one is we don't have to start going 0 to 100. We can actually take steps in this structure process. Number two is let's first take a look at the value you'll get out of doing legal and tax planning versus just going online and setting up something, maybe an LLC or a corporation online, not really understanding how it works or how to maintain it or make sure it holds up during the course of a lawsuit. So let's start looking at the value as investors versus simply the cost. And you'll be much farther ahead than a lot of your cohorts out there, and you'll actually present as a more professional business owner, because when successful business owners that have been in business for a long time look at value in regards to what is my return or what do I potentially gain by making this purchase or buying this piece of equipment or adding these professionals to my team versus all I see is the price tag. So that does it for this episode of Coffee with Carl. I just wanted to, like I said, this comes up every once in a while, so I wanted to address this issue with everybody. If you have more questions, please feel free to give us a call, attend one of our classes, take advantage of all of our free content on YouTube and other places on the internet, our podcasts. Tax Tuesday with Toby. We've got a ton of stuff out there, a ton of free material. We want to educate the public first. If you want to, and then many times if you'd like to, or you like what we're talking about, or would like to know more, always want to have that conversation with you so we can get you your free wealth planning blueprint as well. And eventually, if you want to, you can become a client of ours. We love our clients. We want to protect our clients, but really at heart, we want to educate our clients so they can make informed decisions as investors, and instead of just looking at items as a consumer, because in uncertain times, consumers tend to get taken advantage of. Investors know how to make the appropriate moves to maximize their profits when times are tough. So until next time, thanks for joining me with this episode of Coffee with Carl, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.